Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. I haven't heard from Sea-Dog, so I'm assuming he didn't have any extremely important Home Depot trips to take this week. So he should be here on time. But you never know. You know. Some big games this week, though. As a matter of fact, there's a game that nobody seems to be talking about that has elimination written all over it in the ACC. So we'll talk about that. What's up, CJ? What's up, Slim? Ultra MAGA Dog. Kevron Harris, Matt Dummett, how you guys doing? How you doing? There you go, Michael. There you go. You read my mind, buddy. Pitt and Syracuse. Pitt's undefeated. Syracuse has one loss. And they play each other. And it's also a standalone game. It's on Thursday night. Thursday night ACC showdown. What's up, dog behind enemy lines? Jeremy? Penn State might have a trap game versus Wisconsin. Yeah, well, I feel like every game's a trap game for Penn State. I don't know. They're one of these sneaky good teams. It's kind of like they're like LSU to me. They're just kind of quietly winning. Nobody's really taking them that seriously. You know what I mean? I don't know. SEC 2024 mid as fuck. Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you one thing though. Boy, Notre Dame fans, they really do hate Brian Kelly. That isn't it. It's not like it's not even a joke. I mean, I understand why they wanted him gone and all that, but I mean, you would think he ran that program into the dumpster or something, which he didn't do. I don't know why they hate him so much. You know, I mean, it's not like he did what Mike Norvell did. Which games am I betting on Saturday? Well, I don't know yet. I haven't made any bets yet for college ball, but I did make my picks last night on the Lunch Money Show as far as what I think some of the best games to bet are. I took Boise -3 against UNLV. That's a big game there. Miami at -21 against Florida State. I think Miami can score as much as they want to on Florida State. So that'll be that game might be over at halftime. Ole Miss -21 against Oklahoma. These are big spreads, but I still like them. Oklahoma can't score. I mean, Ole Miss is going to score at least 30, right? Can Oklahoma score 10? I don't think so. And also Navy. Yeah. Shout out to the Fighting Midshipmen. Shout out to the late great Papa Peete as well. Yeah, Notre Dame +13.5. I mean, Navy +13.5. I like Notre Dame to win, but Navy to cover. If you're feeling real frisky, if you think Navy's going to win this game, they're undefeated. You can bet the money line and make a big chunk of change. I'm too much of a coward, so I'll take the points. There you go. Hope that answers your question. LSU and Texas A&M. Yeah, I don't know as far as betting goes. I don't know. I guess you got to go with the home team there, A&M. I don't know. I think LSU's a better team, but I wouldn't touch that game. Whoever wins that game is in first place in the SEC. Imagine that. Imagine that. What's up, Country Tigers? Zona. Wahoo Brad. I picked Virginia to win this week, too. I forget who they play. I'll bring it up here in a minute. Anyway, guys, you guys know the deal. We'll start the show here in just a minute. Still waiting on Sea-Dog, see if he comes in. If not, if one of you other ACC brethren would like to hop on and pick some games with me and talk about some ACC football, feel free to do so. There's a link for the StreamYard in the description. Yeah. It just means less, huh? Committed is here. He says, hey, Pete, I just watched your I Was Wrong video. Great video. Yeah. I'll revisit what I was wrong about at the end of the season as well. Nobody likes to talk about what they were wrong about, do they? No, they don't. But I did. And that's just about football. When it comes to other things, I'm wrong about virtually everything. So, if I did a video about real life, what I was wrong about, hell, that'd be a 4-hour video. What time is the SEC show? I don't know. What time does Josh Pate show come on, or Paul Feinboom? That's the SEC show. Paul Feinboom. Oh, yeah. Yes, see, even you admitted that you were just trolling that Florida State would only win 3 games. Nobody actually thought that was true. Hell, they might not even win that. They might only win 2. Hell, they might not win another one. Yes, I'm a very lucky guy. Very lucky man. This music is starting to depress me. Let's get this thing underway here. I'll just go ahead and bring on our buddy Slim Shady. What's up, Slim?
I wasn't wrong about a thing. I knew everything that was going to happen before it happened.
Of course.
That's why y'all should listen to me.
Of course you did. Yeah. But seriously, is there anything that, like, I'm not, you don't have to make a long list like I did, but is like, which team were you really the most wrong about, you think?
Well, I was definitely, like you, I was definitely wrong about Florida State.
Yeah.
I did not, and I had very similar thoughts to you. I saw, some drop off, obviously, because you don't just replace a guy like Jordan Travis, but I did not expect this. Indiana, if you'd asked me preseason, I'd have been like, who?
Well, I think they're like a Cinderella team, so that's kind of like a universal. Just like Florida State, nobody thought Indiana was going to be this good, so.
Well, I think a good one, I called SMU. I said, it's probably going to take them a year to get acclimated to Power 5 football.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I would have remembered that one. I was wrong about them, too. I should have put them in the video.
Yeah.
Also, and I shout out to Wahoo Brad, but I was wrong about Virginia. Now, look, I don't think Virginia is like, they're not great or anything. I don't want to overinflate what Virginia is, but they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be at this point in the season.
Hey, shout out Tony Elliott.
Yeah. What's up, Sea-Dog?
Duke.
What's up?
Oh, yeah, Duke. Everyone was wrong about Duke. But, hey, no, Duke is sitting there undefeated. Or not undefeated. They got 1 loss. But nobody, and I mean nobody's talking about Duke. It's funny to me.
They really aren't.
No.
They're sitting there with 1 loss and not. Now, granted, they've struggled, but, I mean, it's Duke. How good is Duke?
Right. But They got one loss. We're going into week 9. This is crazy. What do you think, Sea-Dog?
What did I miss?
Nothing. We were just talking about all the things that we were wrong about.
Oh, that's a very short list for me.
Hey, put Mrs. Sea-Dog on the phone. I guarantee you she says differently.
I did.
What were you wrong about, Sea-Dog? Just pick one. Which team in football preseason to now were you the most wrong about?
Jeez, I'd have to think. This is honestly hard because I freaking nailed it this year.
Oh my God! Stop it! There's got to be somebody.
I guess Duke. I thought they would be worse than they are.
Okay.
I definitely didn't think they'd be 6-1 or whatever they are.
I mean, we did have some inkling of it because if you remember, we had Duke on our preseason predictions starting off the season 4-0.
That is true.
Yeah. I think it's just their schedule. Like their schedule's so easy.
They do have an easy schedule, but they still find a way to win. Now that the game against Florida State, I mean, they barely won that game.
I'll tell you what I was wrong about Wake Forest. I thought they would have a bounce back year, sort of how Pitt was. I thought they both would, but only Pitt has. But no, Wake Forest is terrible again.
Yeah.
I just thought,
poor Dave Clawson.
Oh man, he should have got out about 3 years ago. Whenever his name was hot, he missed his opportunity.
Like that Minnesota coach missed the boat. He was too busy running that boat.
Dave Aranda too.
Yeah, Dave Aranda too.
What a shame.
I don't know if you guys heard my
Monday was better than mine. Mine went terribly last night.
Why?
Oh, you didn't see the game?
What
Not
game?
only did we lose to the Ravens by 10.
NFL.
Mike Evans tore his ACL and Chris Godwin broke his ankle.
Damn.
Oh, that game went about as bad as it could go.
Yeah, that does sound bad. Although, talk about being wrong and being right. I have the Ravens in the Super Bowl preseason. Everybody called me crazy. I think they might be the best team in the AFC.
Well, I made the same claim about Tampa, but I didn't foresee, my 2-star wide receivers going down.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably sunk the ship of my season, at least as far as Tampa goes.
Wahoo Brad brings up a great point, Sea-Dog. He says it appears as if the graphics guy still hasn't added Cal, Stanford, or SMU. Yeah.
Well, we don't have a graphics guy. We fired that motherfucker.
I didn't fire him.
Jeez, I mean, do we really need to do that? I guess.
I mean, it's week 9. I guess we could wait till next year.
You might as well at this point.
This graphic's so nice, and it's.
I mean, the graphic is cool, but
East Coast teams.
It is it's a cool graphic. I'll give you that. But I mean,
it would look way better with Cam Ward on it instead of Jay Garcia.
I mean, there is 3 other teams in the ACC that aren't on it though. So,
is anybody in that graphic even still at the school that they're photoed in?
I don't think it.
Yes. Yeah. Antonio Williams is the Clemson guy. He's still there.
Williams, okay.
Yeah. I don't know about the other ones. Oh well, Jordan Travis, obviously no.
No.
Who's the Miami guy?
I think that's Jay Garcia.
Oh my God! What, 10 years ago?
He's gone.
Where'd you find that picture, Sea-Dog? Back in the archives?
At least you didn't use Tate Martell.
Tate Martell.
Looked up Georgia Tech football, and then found a cool picture.
Yeah. You didn't really pay attention to who it was. You didn't care.
Yeah. Just as long as it, and also it had to fit in the shape I needed.
Right. All right. Well, shout out to all the Stanford, Cal, and SMU fans. Sorry. Don't blame me. I run the show here from my channel, but Sea-Dog's the one that screwed y'all over, not me. So don't get mad at me.
Oh, I made this before the daggum those teams were added to the ACC, like right before.
Well, we can't get a Georgia Tech man to build an interstate system, so why don't we build a graphic?
Hey, Raw for a reason. He wants to know, can I try to make a graphic for y'all?
Do it.
I mean, I don't want to. If you want to do it, go ahead and just email it to me. And we'll see if we like it. It's up to you, buddy.
Wahoo Brad reminds me, I was wrong about Virginia too. Man, I thought they'd be terrible again, and Tony Elliott be fired.
Well, we were talking about that right as you came in. I mean, they're not great, but they're definitely better than really anybody foresaw them being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show.
I'm sorry, who are you talking about?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Yeah, definitely. He's probably saved his job, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think his job should have been on the line.
I'm not sure that it was. I mean, there was starting to be some fans that were kind of getting a little bit impatient. But Virginia, just in general, is not not one of these teams like Miami or Florida that fires their coach every 3 years.
No,
You know?
and I mean, everybody knows my proclivities on that. But I mean, even more so with a team, like Virginia. That's why I wasn't on the train to fire Shane Beamer. Like South Carolina's kind of in that boat where you're not really in a position to be firing guys every 3 years because what's the standard at South Carolina?
Yeah, I disagree with you on that. I understand exactly where you're coming from with the expectation at South Carolina, but in my opinion, they have the resources and the geographical location and the fan base, the whole thing. They should be. I'm not saying they should be competing for the SEC championship every single year, but they should. I mean, there should be outlying years where they're competitive in the SEC, and they just never are.
They were never competitive in the ACC.
Well, in 1969 they were.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's literally a blind squirrel finding its nut.
That place, Columbia's cursed. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced of it. Don't need baby showers or wedding showers, just stating for the record. Oh, he's talking about Colby's wedding. Are you going to that? Any of you? Sea-Dog?
I don't know.
Did you get
I wasn't invited.
Oh, shit. Oh, Raleigh must have said no Sea-Dog allowed.
I guess so, or else I'd go, but I wasn't.
Well, it's on. Do you want to take my place? I can give you my invitation.
Do what?
Do you want to take my place?
No, that's okay.
It's on the day one of the playoffs.
Oh,
I mean, I may be lucky to make the Slav Olympics at this point. So
I'm gonna be watching
yeah.
Georgia Tech in that day. So
I was going to ask you about that, Slim. Actually, Mrs. Peete asked me that the other day. She said, "Is Slim and still going to be able to go on the cruise?" I said, "I don't know."
I would tend to think so, but I hate to put a concrete. I mean, I guess I could. I mean, I don't see why I couldn't. There's no monetary reason why I can't. I'll put it that way.
Right. I got what you're saying. Well, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
You need to go.
I do need to go.
Yeah, make it happen. Come on, man. Now, you are going on the cruise, Sea-Dog, right?
yeah.
All right, good. All right, let me pull up. Before we talk about some of last week's games, I do want to mention this is a huge game this week, Thursday. No, it's not. Hold on now. What's going on here? That's Friday's game. Florida State and Duke on Friday night. Wow.
I watched that game.
Oh, that was last week.
That was a difficult game to watch. And I mean, because it's not like defenses were playing lights out. It was just a comedy of errors all the way around.
Yeah. And they ended up benching Brock Glenn, and then they brought him back in the game later. I forget the guy, the third string guy who took over. God damn, he was terrible.
Yeah, well, he's a true freshman too.
I know. But anyway, before we get into last week, this Thursday we got an ACC game that actually means something.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I'm actually loving these Thursday and Friday night games.
Well, we got two. We got two this week, right? We got Syracuse and Pittsburgh on Thursday night, and don't look now, but Pittsburgh's undefeated, and Syracuse only has one loss, so they're still technically mathematically in the equation for the ACC. So most likely, this is definitely an elimination game for one of those two, because Pittsburgh still has to play both Clemson and SMU. So they got to win this one if they want to stay alive. So anyway, I might stream that. That game comes on at 7:30. There's probably about a 48% chance that I'll stream that game on Thursday night. I just don't know yet. I got something going on Thursday. If I'm able to do it, I will. But that's an intriguing game there. So let's go back to week 8. I can't believe it's week 9 already. This is crazy.
No.
Flies by.
It flies by. Before you know it, we're all going to be dead. All right, that was probably not the right thing to say. All right. Let's see. Last week we just talked about Florida State and Duke. I don't even really know what to say about that, other than the fact that Duke is sitting there at 6-1 somehow. But if you look at their schedule, it's backloaded. Duke's is.
Florida State has never lost to Duke in the entire world.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat.
That was their first loss in program history to Duke.
That is a crazy stat.
Yeah.
I would have never if somebody, I'm sure the Florida State people knew that, and probably the Duke people too. If you would have asked me, I wouldn't have said that. I would have thought they had lost to them at least a couple of times.
I thought we owned Duke, man, but
yeah,
that's brutal.
Well, you know what they say. There's a first time for everything, and there's a first time for Florida State losing to Duke, and it happened last
I wonder
last
how
Friday.
many games.
Is it just me, or does it sound like Sea Dog's in the transfer portal?
Yeah, I don't. He's in some kind of portal. I don't know. You were breaking up, C-Dog. There you go.
I don't know. Oh, sorry.
All right, say that again. You were breaking up.
I was just wondering what their actual record against them is.
22-1.
Yeah, 22-1.
22.
I don't know what's going on with your connection, C-Dog. Are you on your phone or on your computer? Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
What? No, now I can.
Well, you came back for a second, but you're definitely in the transfer portal.
Let me do something.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. While he's handling that, moving on. Miami and Louisville. This was a good game.
It was, and actually, some people are shocked. Oh, Miami plays close one again. I kind of saw this being a shootout like it was, because Louisville's offense is not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they're not. Almost 100 points scored in this game. That's crazy. 52-45. Now, Miami had a two-score. It went sort of back and forth. Miami sort of like ended the game about halfway through the fourth quarter. They went up by 14 points, and I think at that point it was pretty much out of reach for Louisville. And that's when I stopped watching it, because I knew that Miami was going to win. But I guess they scored another touchdown, some trash touchdown at the end of the game or something. Is that what happened?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, one of those touchdowns was a kick return.
Right. Yeah. Special teams touchdown. And of course, another week of Miami football, another controversy. Even though I disagree with the controversy, I don't think there's a controversy at all. I think the right call was made. And if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, there was a play where Cam Ward was passing the ball, and the ball got knocked loose out of his hand. They called it a incomplete pass, which it was, because his arm was going forward, but yet somehow people are saying that the refs are paid by Mario Cristobal, or so, I don't know, Dan Radakovich or somebody, or maybe Jesus himself, and they just wanted Miami to win, and that's the reason they did that. But I don't know. I understand sometimes there's these close calls, like the Virginia Tech call. Like, I think there's a legitimate gripe there if you're Virginia Tech, but you can see both sides of the argument. And this one, I don't see the other side of the argument. The ball doesn't come loose out of his hand until his arm's already moving forward. That's a textbook incomplete pass, period. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if I'd have thought about it, I would have sent you, because there was that controversy in the Cal game, supposedly with the non-call for targeting. But somebody actually, and I reposted it on Twitter. Somebody actually took 3 screenshots from the front angle that shows it the best, and shows his forearm making contact first, his shoulder pad making contact second, and then his helmet's making contact inevitably at the end.
Oh, you're talking about a targeting call?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I don't even bother arguing with people about those calls anymore because it's different every game. It's the stupidest freaking. I mean, nobody knows what a targeting call is.
I agree with you, but I to me, it's pretty obvious that his arm was going forward. That was an incomplete pass, not a. Plus, also, like, I even get it with some of these fumbles. Yeah, the ball's going to go forward a little bit. The ball's not going to go 10 yards down the field if it's a fumble.
Well, again, so I posted on, I think it was on Twitter after that. I was like, look, this incomplete pass. His arm is going forward. They go, oh no, Pete, you don't know what you're talking about. They hit his arm when his arm was still all the way cocked back. And I go, yeah, you can hit somebody's arm, but it's when the ball comes loose that matters, not where the contact was made.
Exactly.
So his arm was coming forward when the ball came loose, period.
I feel like this was less controversial than some of the past weeks for Miami.
Right.
Well, and I mean, here's my thing, and I've done it every week on Twitter because the stuff's been out there. There are plenty of missed calls going both ways in those games. So why people are focusing on one? Like the Cal one is the one that gets me the most. Like, okay, even if you want to call that targeting, fine. You still gave up a 25-point lead.
Yeah, that's true. B Bean says refs have cheated for Miami all season. Why would the refs cheat for Miami? All of a sudden, I mean, clearly they haven't cheated for Miami in the past 20 years. So why now?
Well, you know what's incontrovertible, and it's funny B Bean brings that up. Irony abounds. There was no controversy in that Florida game. We just waxed that ass.
Yeah. Yeah, the only controversy was why is Sunbelt Billy still the head coach there? It's the only controversy. Although
I got to give credit where credit's due.
They gotten better.
That is a much better looking football team today than they were week 1.
Sure, they've definitely got better since Miami game. Like if they played this weekend, I still think Miami would win, but I think it would be a lot closer than it was in week 1.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been a blowout that it was. Which, by the way, talking about getting preseason predictions wrong. And you heard me say this numerous times, T. I thought that was going to be a close game.
Yeah, and you also thought that the Florida State game was going to be close, which ironically enough, you played them this week. So we'll talk about that. Although I'm sure that I know you still hold on to the whole anything could happen. It's Florida State and Miami thing. But I don't know. I feel like you got to have changed your mind a little bit about that. That's how bad Florida State is.
Yeah, we'll get into that once we get into
that.
The coming up week.
All right, Virginia at Clemson. I don't know how many of you guys actually watched this game, or if you just looked at the score and made up your own opinion about it. But Clemson got down 10-0 or 10-3 rather in the first quarter. And then they turned on the Jets. Virginia didn't score another touchdown till the fourth quarter. It was basically a blowout. And then Clemson put in the water boy and the towel boy and everybody. And then they scored 20 points in the fourth quarter, Virginia did, to make it look closer than it really was. But shout out to the Fighting Tony Elliots. They're a pretty good team, but obviously Clemson just, too good to outlast at home.
Well, and me and you talked about this on the midday show. I do think your starting defense is fine, but y'all got a depth problem when it comes to your defense. Once you get past the first and some of the second, your defense got some problems.
Yeah, I think, and I said the same thing, I think, in my video. Their first string is as good as anybody's in the country, especially the defensive line. But yeah, I agree with you. The secondary is also very good, but you can't play these guys every snap. So at some point, you're rotating guys in and out, and I agree with you. The depth isn't there, especially in the secondary, but we'll find out down the stretch. Clemson's 3 of their toughest games in the ACC are coming up back to back to back here over the next few weeks. So, and then we got South Carolina at the end of the year.
Pitt, Virginia Tech, and
Louisville, Virginia Tech, then Pitt, and the Virginia Tech and Pitt game are both on the road for Clemson. So, yeah. A little bit worried about that. Pitt's got the 8th ranked total offense in the country right now.
Shout out Pitt.
Clemson's got the 7th, so they're right there with them. And then Miami, number 1.
We are the conference of excellence.
Yeah, we really are. And somebody got mad earlier. I put it in the chat before we all got on here, talking about how mid the SEC was.
Yes.
I mean, SEC doesn't stand a chance against the ACC in a football game this year.
So true.
A rivalry weekend's going to be interesting this year.
It is.
Very interesting. Now, first of all, Florida State's going to lose, so that's unfortunate. You can go ahead and thanks. They're going to let us down here. But Louisville and Kentucky, I think, is still going to be interesting. Clemson and South Carolina might be the best out of all of them. And then Georgia. Well, what do you think, Sea-Dog?
I think we're going to walk. Carson Beck will turn it over 9 times.
I don't know, man.
And we're going to win.
What's going on with Haynes King? Because this is the next game on the list. Notre Dame at Georgia Tech, 31-13.
Yeah, he has some kind of what is his injury? Leg, or I think it's leg related. But yeah, he was out against Notre Dame, unfortunately.
He's going to be out against Virginia Tech. I saw on Twitter.
Now, Pete, did I not tell you? Did we not save you from losing the bet here?
Oh yeah, thank you. But you know what I did? I found out a way to lose money on this game, regardless.
Oh, the over/under.
Yes. God dang it!
Man. Would you bet the over?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, Pete always bets the over.
Oh yeah, I don't bet under.
Our offense did not put points on the board when we should have. So, I mean, that was. But the problem was not our backup quarterback. He played good. He's played before. He played 2 years ago when he was a true freshman, and he led us to a victory on the road against Virginia Tech. He runs hard. He's not as fast as Haynes King, but he's bigger, and he's willing to run, you know. And he was pretty good. I'm gonna pull up his stats because.
Going back to our theme of preseason predictions being right, I said your defense would be your problem this year, and they really are. Yeah, so
he threw for
269.
269, yeah.
Yeah. How much did he rush for?
Too killer of a completion percentage, but I mean,
how much did he rush for?
Notre Dame's just really good. I mean, he was also our leading rusher. We cannot run the ball. Same story.
Y'all made Riley Leonard look like a confident quarterback.
I know. I
was having PTSD flashbacks of Riley Leonard running all over your defense just like he did on Clemson last year.
Riley Leonard throws a freaking horrible interception on the first drive of the game for them, or second, or whatever it was, which was, I mean, and for the rest of the game, they didn't take a ton of shots. They didn't need to. They were killing us with the short passing game, like quick slants, and their receivers would just make a move on our DBs, and we couldn't. I mean,
well, to be fair, Notre Dame doesn't have a deep passing game.
Right.
So
they would literally. I watched it over and over. They would just outmaneuver us. It was pitiful. We have such a bad passing defense. It's not, and like you said, we made him look like a competent quarterback. It really was a really hard game to watch. And even worse than our defense, our godforsaken special teams. Oh my God, dude. I mean, we had a field goal blocked. So we missed another one. Like we had punt return touchdown, I think again, or maybe that was last week. I don't even know anymore. There's a freaking special team fiasco every week. So I can't even keep track of them at this point. Special teams are so garbage. I mean, Pyron has a nice 2-minute drill at the end of the half. We go down and miss the field goal. It's like a 30-yard field goal. We miss it. And it's like, dude, we can't make the simplest field goals now. Our special teams is a freaking disaster. Total disaster. And our special teams coordinator needs to be fired. I'm not even it's not got better. And we've had him I think he hired him before before the season started last year.
Yeah.
So he's had a year and a half, and our special teams sucks. So, I mean, that's plenty of time to fix special teams, and he hasn't. I mean, he's a good recruiter. He doesn't need to be, in that position.
All right.
So that's my rant for that. I mean, it was just a completely abysmal game. My freaking Jackets let me down every freaking year on my birthday. Every freaking year like clockwork. It wasn't my birthday, but my birthday was yesterday. My birthday was yesterday, so this was the closest proximity game to my birthday.
Well, happy birthday.
Freaking year. Thank you. Every freaking year they do this to me. Last year it was the freaking Boston College game where I threw the chips and got yelled at. And then the year before that was the Virginia game where we went out. We had to put in the worst quarterback you've ever seen, and we went 3 and out 7 times in a row. That's just the last few years of happy birthday to C-Dog.
See, that's how I knew that we were destined to win the Cal game, and I was sitting there cool as a cucumber because that was my oldest daughter's birthday.
For anybody who doesn't know what C-Dog is talking about, there's a hilarious live stream. He was live streaming the game from one of his buddies' houses. And during the game, the guy's wife comes down the stairs and starts yelling at C-Dog.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They were terrorizing me, and I threw, and I wound up, one thing led to another. I wound up throwing.
You threw a bag of chips in a tree.
A bag of chips, like an entire box of chips in the tree.
I think she was also mad at you because you were outside yelling outside, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, I thought she was telling you to shut up because you were yelling outside.
No, I just threw the chips in the tree.
Well, yeah, she doesn't want to have to answer uncomfortable questions to her neighbors.
Yeah.
Who was a psychopath at your house last Saturday.
Yeah, so there's chips all in the tree. And also at the end of the stream, I was back over at their house this year. We were joking about it because we're obviously.
I know. I came in the stream. I said, "Is that your friend whose wife yelled at you?" And you're like, "Yeah, it was."
Yeah, I was back over there as fate would have it this year. And at the very end of the stream, we're like losing, and he comes down dressed as his Halloween costume. We always do it because his birthday was Thursday, mine was yesterday. So we always do kind of like a joint thing and get all our friends together. And it's also like a Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
So he came down dressed in a bag of Doritos costume, which was really funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So,
I mean, I still had a good time at the party, but my freaking Jackets do this every year to me. So, happy birthday, dog. I get a big freaking L.
Well, speaking of...
well, at least they're consistent.
Yeah.
Speaking of me being wrong about teams, it appears as if I might have been wrong about Georgia Tech. I gave you guys too much credit.
No kidding.
Yeah.
We suck, man. I mean, I'm looking at 6-6 this year.
See, I had him win 7 or 8.
We still have NC State, so I'm counting on that one to get us bowl eligible. But our other games are Virginia Tech, Miami, and Georgia. So Virginia Tech is kind of tough.
So, something else that y'all need to deal with, and this, I don't know if this is a Georgia Tech fan base as a whole thing, or if this is a you and Rec Talk thing, but y'all are starting to act like that a jaded ex when it comes to Jeff Collins.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he's right.
What do you mean? That was like last week.
Yes, but I mean, y'all, this is now consistently for 2 years. We're going to make half the content on our channels about whining and crying about Jeff Collins.
They hate him.
Whatever. Try not to lose to Manny Diaz.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. After what I saw in the Florida State game, I'm not particularly worried.
Right. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, I know they're not in the ACC, but they are worth mentioning here. They're sitting there at
Fuck Notre Dame.
where are they ranked now? Anyway, they've got to play Navy this week. They still have to play Army. Outside of those two games, I don't see a loss on their or a potential loss on their schedule. I think they're going to lose to one of those two. Probably, if I had to pick one of the two, I'd pick Army. I just think Army is better than Navy.
I tend to agree.
But still a tricky game for them this week. And I don't know. We'll see. With Notre Dame, they've been on a roll ever since they lost to NIU. SMU and Stanford. Oh, this was a blowout. SMU.
Kind of to be expected. I mean, Stanford.
Right, 40-10. This game was never in question. SMU don't look now.
This isn't our younger years. This isn't the hardball Stanford that we all know and love.
No. It's not even the what's his face Stanford.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Stanford down bad, but SMU is quietly just hanging around in the ACC. I mean, and they have a favorable schedule going forward. I mean, they do have to play Pitt, and Clemson also has to play Pitt. So that's a huge game for both teams because if one of those teams loses to Pitt and the other doesn't, and they all win the rest of their games, then the winner of that Pitt game is the one that gets in the championship game.
Yeah.
Now,
and you know what's funny? We went from no teams in the playoffs last year with an undefeated Florida State, and now even national media is starting to pick up on this train of, you know, if SMU and Clemson and Miami keep it up, you could see 3 ACC teams in the playoffs.
It's possible. I mean, I tend to think that we went through some of the potential if there's a tie in the ACC, like some of the tiebreakers and everything. I tend to think that it's going to work itself out. I do think SMU is going to lose one more game, probably to Pitt if they're going to. But if they win out, that'd be something. I was wrong about them too. I thought they were a 6-6 team coming in the ACC. I really did.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I actually agree with some of the Clemson fans that I've talked to on Twitter, and Belushi may have said this too. If I'm Clemson, screw it. Let SMU play in the ACC title game. I mean, you think they're going to leave an 11-win Clemson team out of the playoffs? No chance.
Well, first of all, if Clemson wins 11 games, they'll be in the championship game, I think. Because they would be undefeated in the ACC.
Yes, but SMU was undefeated overall, so they would end up putting SMU in the ACC title game more than likely.
Maybe. I haven't really looked at the tiebreakers there.
I mean, I'm a Clemson fan at that point. That's kind of what I'm rooting for because, I mean, just brand recognition alone, they're not leaving an 11-win Clemson out of it. They're just not.
Probably not. I agree with you. But that gives Clemson really no room for error at this point because they really do need to win out. I mean, not just for the ACC bid, but for the playoffs too. So,
I mean, you say that. I think a 10-win Clemson is very well still in it.
Yeah, SMU did lose. They lost to BYU.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, so they're just like Clemson. They both have an out of conference loss, but they're undefeated in conference.
Yeah.
So right now,
and both of them were blowouts too.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Rec Talk's here.
Oh, he is? All right, I'll bring him on. What's up, Rec?
You talking shit, Slim? Because Sea-Dog's not the one that's made all the content. I can't even talk. You got me so worked up, dude. Leave me alone and let me make videos about what I want to make videos about.
Hey, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying.
Shut your mouth and listen when Daddy Rex talking. All right? First of all, you
better pump your brakes there, sir.
You sound like a jilted lover getting on to me because y'all lost to us last year. You can't talk shit to me till y'all beat us this year.
Yes, I can. Sir, I've had 18 years of Miami losing to refine my shit talking skills, no matter whether Miami wins or loses.
Do you wanna go tit for tat on who's had worse seasons in the past several
Oh
years?
no, you win that one hands down. I've never had a 3-win season.
Right. So that's why I make videos about Jeff Collins. He three-peated a 3-win season. That's what that's about.
Man, this is the who's worse debate.
No, we're shittier, dude.
Oh yeah, they're way shittier than Miami. There is no debate there.
All right.
You just take care of Florida State this week, all right?
Oh, that should be easy. I think Florida State's given up for real. I mean, even when they played Clemson, they were down bad, but they still fought in that game, and they never gave up till the clock's hit 0. But I think after that loss on the road at Duke last week, I just think they've got to be mentally checked out by now.
Well, and this brings up a part of my problem with the transfer portal, like especially when you use it as heavily as Mike Norvell does. Do they really give two shits about the rivalry game?
I don't know.
If they don't give a shit about beating Duke, probably not.
No, you do make a good point there. All right, moving on, though, we got to move on. Wake Forest and UConn, there's really nothing to talk about here, except for the fact that Wake Forest barely beat UConn. I said last week on the ACC show, fuck it, give me UConn to win outright, and I was joking, but hell, they almost did.
And they were favored. Evidently, they got hosed in a call.
Yeah.
That's what people were commenting on my power ranking.
Yeah.
Well, if we learned anything from this past week, throw enough shit on the field and you can get any call you don't like reversed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really nothing to talk about with that game. Shout out to UConn for losing by 3 points. NC State at Cal. This was a good game, a 1-point game. And, man, Cal, you let me down. Dave Dorn was on an epic losing streak. And even epic for him. And you let him win. You let him go to the...
Hold on. Did they beat Cal? What?
Yeah, by 1 point.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Cal's lost to Florida State and NC State.
Yeah, the two worst teams in the ACC.
Damn.
Do it. But they beat Auburn.
They did beat
But
Auburn.
they beat Auburn.
The worst team in the SEC, baby.
And they gave Miami a run for their money, too. So,
They did.
and they beat, who was it, Syracuse? No, that was
No,
Stanford.
they're after you, buddy.
Damn, you got a helicopter. What'd you do, Slim?
No, I didn't do anything. That was a semi going by.
Oh, I thought it was a helicopter. It sounded like a helicopter. I thought they were coming to get you.
0-4 in conference play.
Who is?
Cal.
0-4?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, they lost to Florida State. You're right.
Yeah, they lost to Florida. Yeah, that's Florida State's only win.
Who was it that gave that beat Syracuse? I know somebody did.
It was Stanford.
Stanford.
Okay.
Yeah, Stanford did right the week before they played Clemson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Friday
Jesus
night game.
Christ.
Anyway, so we got, like I said, we talked about this at the top of the show. This is a big game in the ACC. This is an elimination game probably for one of these two teams. Syracuse at Pitt, 7:30 p.m. Thursday night. Who you guys got in this? It's at Pittsburgh. I don't really know that matters. Is there really a home field advantage for Pittsburgh other than the fact that it's outdoors and might be cold?
Your stadium.
Huh?
And come out with a win.
Don't you let here talk as Pitt. Let him hear you say that.
Well, I kind of hope Pitt wins just so they can stay ranked whenever Clemson plays them, just so we can say we have a ranked win if we beat them, because we don't have one yet.
Yeah,
But
right.
outside of that, I don't know. This should be a good game.
Well, Jesus, Pete, y'all only got one win over a team with a winning record.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Miami has the #1 passing offense in the country. You know who has the second?
Pittsburgh.
Syracuse.
Oh, is it Syracuse?
Syracuse.
So now Pittsburgh has a top 10 overall offense. I know that.
They do. I'm just saying it makes it tough because these are both teams that can put a lot of points on the board.
I mean, what is this? Half of the top 10 offenses in the country are in the ACC. I don't feel so bad about my fucking defense now.
Well, there is 3. Pittsburgh, Miami, and Clemson are all in the top 10 in
and
offense.
Syracuse.
Syracuse is too. Oh,
And Louisville, if Louisville isn't top 10, they're close to it.
I think we looked it up last night. They're like 19th, something like that.
Okay.
But
It's just their run game is god awful, but their passing game is number 2 in the country. For sure.
yeah,
Well, they were all hyped up about getting Don Chaney Jr. from us at the end of last season. Guess that didn't work out too well for them.
all right. Friday night, Louisville at Boston College.
Louisville.
I'm taking Louisville too, but man, they've got to lose. They're 3-4, aren't they?
Damn.
No, Louisville's 4-3.
4-3, still.
Yeah.
They lost to
damn.
Notre Dame, Miami.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've gotten beat by some pretty good teams, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got one of the. In retrospect, now they've got one of the tougher schedules in the ACC. They got to play They got to play the toughest teams in the conference. They still have to play Clemson next week too. But their seasons, they lost 3 games, so they're pretty much out of it. But
Right.
but they're still. I guess they're trying to play for a decent bowl game at this point. All right, moving on.
Boston College is scrappy, so I'm not going to write them completely out of it, but I do think Louisville wins that game.
They'll turn it over 4 times in this game. Boston College.
Georgia Tech at Virginia Tech.
Yee.
The Battle of the Techs. What do you got? What do you nerds call this game?
Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, the Tecmo Bowl. That's
Yeah.
right.
I think we probably lose, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we probably lose too, but the last time Virginia Tech beat Georgia Tech in Blacksburg was 2012. Whatever reason, Tech plays well up there, but we're going to be starting a backup quarterback, 95% likely, and our best linebacker could be out as well. So I think, what is it, 10.5 for Virginia Tech? I'd have to take Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech's got a ton of problems right now in special teams.
I would take Virginia Tech at home too. I want to thank you real quick. You weren't on here at the beginning of the show. Thank you for the inside information last week. I was walking around telling everybody I knew an insider, and they were like, "What?" I was like, "I got inside information."
Oh yeah,
Keeps moving up in the world.
And also the spread and the over/under for all the ACC games, and I did the same as me flipping a coin, which was 56%.
Yeah. I also told them I still found a way to lose money on that game. I bet the over like an idiot, and it didn't hit.
Well, both those offenses have struggled. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. I don't know why I bet the game at all. Well, I hate money. That's why.
Fuck money.
Yeah, Pete's trying to bet himself right into the poorhouse.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think we're all on Virginia Tech on that one. North Carolina at Virginia. Talk about we talk about a team that's in give up mode like Florida State. Holy shit. Yeah, give me the Wahoos at home.
Yeah, so much for Mac Brown's swan song.
Boy, North Carolina's happy that Florida State is sucking as much ass as they are right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would be in the crosshairs of, they're in a huge decline. Yeah, give me Virginia.
The 3 worst teams in the ACC. Well, I guess if you take out Florida State, because they're in the running too, are all in North Carolina. North Carolina, NC State, and Wake Forest.
Thank God Tech plays so many of those North Carolina.
So much for the ACC front office showing all that love to Tobacco Road.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Well, they think, if we get in the SEC, all our problems are solved. That's what I heard from North Carolina fan.
But in all seriousness, Virginia is not a bad team. They're pretty good, especially offensively.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think they roll. I don't think they win by 3 or 4 scores, but I think they're going to definitely beat North Carolina.
Yeah. Wake Forest at Stanford. Does anybody care at this point? Unless
I'm not sure anybody on either one of those 2 teams cares.
Unless you're a Wake Forest or a Stanford fan, this game means absolutely nothing to anybody outside of these 2 universities.
Mike Lucas says he cares.
Mike Luke. Oh, Mike. Of course, Mike. Well, I said he's a demon deacon, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick one, I guess I'm taking the home team. Give me Stanford. Big. Go Trees.
I think Stanford's the better team.
I think so too.
I'd pick Stanford.
Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree.
They can run the ball.
Yeah, I think Stanford's starting quarterback's been out for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oregon State at Cal. Now,
Pac-12.
well, Pac-12 is are they still the Pac-12? I don't know.
Technically, yes. They have 2 years to reform that conference contractually.
I like Cal in this game.
I don't know anything about Oregon State, to be honest.
I know they're not good. That's all I know.
Yeah, they're not good.
Isn't that where DJU came from?
Well, there's a list as long as your arm of where DJ came from. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, and that's where Damian Martinez came from.
I'm just saying they're probably better after DJU left.
No, they were actually better last year. Hell, they won 8 games last year, I think. 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Damn.
And DJ didn't really play bad last year. I mean, he had similar numbers to what he had at Clemson. I mean, they weren't terrible and they weren't great.
Identical.
Almost identical. That's right. They threw the ball.
That's why I don't think Florida State's problem is him. Obviously, he's been on the bench for the past couple of weeks.
Well, he's one of the problems. I mean,
he's one of them, but he's like problem 37 down the list.
I think so. He got a lot of the blame. But I mean, look, I saw him play, and he played terribly. Now, again, he didn't have a lot of help. A lot of drop balls. It was just a comedy of errors. Either he threw a good pass and the receiver dropped it, or he threw a terrible pass when the receiver was wide open. So they just couldn't catch a break. And he's a turnover machine. But anyway, I'm taking Cal here at home. I would like to see the line on that. Because that's a bettable game there.
I'm going to guess the line's Cal by 4.5.
I would take him at that. Under a touchdown, I would. They still have one of the better secondaries in the country. California does.
They do.
Yeah, they got a good defense overall.
They got a good defense. Now they dropped way down the rankings for overall defense, but their pass defense in particular is really good. Florida State at Miami, man.
I really am having a hard time hyping myself up for this game with Florida State being 1-6.
It's unfortunate, isn't it?
It is. And something still tells me, though, that Miami probably does not cover the 21-point spread, but even I'm starting to have some second thoughts about that.
This is a crazy betting line. Over under 54.5?
Yeah.
They don't think Florida State's going to score any points, I guess.
Well, the spread's 21, so they think, I guess, it's going to be like 30-something to 20. I don't know if Florida State could score 20 points. I'm being serious.
Yeah, they haven't scored over 21 yet this year.
Yeah.
And even with missing 3 games, Ruben Bain is leading the country in quarterback pressures, and their offensive line is bad. Bad. I mean, between Ruben Bain, Simeon Barrow, and Tyler Barron, I'm not sure if the secondary is really even going to matter whether or not they're on the field.
This is a night game, too, so this is a 7 o'clock game at Hard Rock, and I believe you told me yesterday, Slim, that this game is sold out.
Yeah, that game is sold out.
So,
well, Miami fans in true Miami fan fashion, being as fair weather as I claim them to be, the team looks good, they're going to show up.
well, especially against Florida State.
Yeah, like even when they're bad, Florida State games will still get sold out.
Yeah. So, is there any reason now? I'm probably going to bet this game. I think Miami's going to win by way more than 21. I mean, that is a high number. I understand that, but rivalry aside, the Florida State's that bad to me, and I think that Miami is a legit top 10 team in the country. So this game shouldn't be questionable. Is there any reason for you to talk me out of not taking Miami at -21? Like, does one of your players' girlfriends break up with them over the week, or do they have a hangnail? What's going on? Anything I should be concerned about?
Nothing I know of. And actually, according to Mario, some guys are getting healthier. Now, I don't think he'll be back for this game, but the second best corner on the team is due to be back in the next couple of weeks. So, boost to the secondary going forward. But no, I haven't heard of anything. Everything's standard operating procedure.
Cam Ward's playing his ass off. He's up there at the top of the Heisman discussion.
I mean, it should be 7 straight games.
Yeah.
Over 300 yards passing and at least 3 touchdowns passed in every game.
As bad as Florida State is, if he wants to stay at top of the conversation, I think he needs to go out there and have a ridiculous day. I'm talking about 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, something like that.
Here's the thing. I don't know if Mario will do that, though. Because we all know Mario still wants to, Mario being Mario, he wants to run the football. And they have gotten a whole lot better, because I was griping about it earlier in the season, of, not really producing rushing yards in the first half and them all coming from the second. But especially against Louisville, they got away from that. And, we kind of saw the Damian Martinez we had all been waiting to see. I mean, there was one point they pushed a pile 30 yards down the field. He just wouldn't go down. I mean, he drugged 2 guys on his back into the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Pete, would it change your mind? From betting this? Because they're saying the curse is associated with this dog poo eater. What if he came out of hiding, ate the dog poop, and then Florida State upset Miami?
Oh, if he ate the dog poop, I would definitely take Florida State in the points.
All right, we gotta find this guy. If he's a true Florida State fan, he'll eat that poop.
Well, as far as I know, he's still in hiding.
Yeah, that guy disappeared. He committed the proverbial social media suicide that day when he did that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, up and vanished like a fart in the wind, too.
I mean, I don't blame him. I wouldn't do it either. I'm not eating dog shit for any reason.
Well, I'm also not going to be on the internet and say I'm going to eat dog shit either. I know better than that.
Yeah, Nature Boy says they've been eating shit all season. He's right.
Yeah, Florida State's football team's doing it for him.
That's right. All right, SMU at Duke. Is there any chance well, of course there's a chance. Why am I saying this? Again, Duke is 6-1. Nobody's talking about Duke because of their schedule, I guess, is the reason. And some of the games they've won have been very close. But nonetheless, they're 6-1. Is this I think next week is the Pitt and SMU game, if I'm not mistaken. So is SMU overlooking Duke, focused on hosting Pitt next week for a possible elimination game in the ACC? That's the question. Can Duke win this game?
Yes, they can.
I think they can, too.
They can. I don't think they're going to.
I don't either. Wah, wah.
I don't think Duke's that good.
Yeah.
I mean, people have talked about Miami playing with fire, and I agree. I mean, Duke didn't lead that North Carolina game until that very last touchdown. I mean, North Carolina's terrible. They struggled. Florida State's terrible. They struggled.
Somebody needs to scare Rec Talk. He's got the hiccups.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hey, I got something. I got something scary for you, Rec Talk. Georgia Tech's offense.
Dude, I didn't do shit. I'm not even hiccuping when you did that to me. I'm innocent.
Offense isn't that bad.
Well, all right, Georgia Tech defense.
No, if you really want
Yeah, that's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech just
Special teams.
That would scare me.
That reminds me, talking about, I mean, it's a scary time of the year, right? It's we're coming up on Halloween here. Either Sea Dog or Rec Talk or both of you, you're missing the opportunity if you don't dress up like Jeff Collins.
Sea Dog's already done it once.
You got to get the sleeveless sweatshirt. Is that what he wear? What does he wear? Sleeveless
No,
sweat.
that's Brent Key that's ripped the sleeves off of a hoodie.
What a you bastard, dude.
Well, Jeff Collins, well, he doesn't wear socks. I know that.
I was gonna do that. I was gonna do that if we lost to North Carolina. Of course, we never do that. We never lose to them. So, but I was going to dress up like him and do the Waffle House challenge. But I guess I'll never have to do that. So,
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know that Duke can win this game. I'm not super confident in SMU covering 11.5 points, though. I mean, Duke's problem is not their defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's their offense. And I'm not even necessarily certain it's their quarterback. I mean, Malik Murphy has not played bad, but their wide receivers and that O-line are not helping him out.
No, I mean, he's thrown 14 touchdowns on 5 picks, which is not awful. It's not great.
It's not awful, but I mean, it just. Granted, I've watched one Duke game, in its entirety, and that was the Friday night game with Florida State. Now, granted, Florida State's defense is kind of coming around a little bit. So defensively, Florida State didn't play a bad game, but that was the problems Duke was having in that game was offensive line blocking, and then wide receivers just dropping balls.
I tend to lean towards taking Duke and laying the points, like Brandon in the chat said. But I don't trust Duke enough to put a single dollar on that game. I really don't. I mean,
SMU's been putting up a bunch of points.
Yeah, they have.
Pete, do you have like a lock pick of the week? Like these people do. Like this is my pick of the century.
PigskinPeete.
Lock of the week.
Lock of the week.
Yes, I do have a lock of the week. It's Virginia -5 against North Carolina.
I like it.
That's your lock.
That's my lock. It's in Charlottesville. Well, we know the story with North Carolina. Anything under a touchdown, I'm taking Virginia at home against that team. So.
Well, and this is no shade, but I mean, I would even take Virginia at home against Georgia Tech because Georgia Tech got some problems up there in Virginia.
Boy, poor Omarion Hampton. He's a great player on a terrible team, and he almost left too.
Yeah, they must have found a bag for him.
I don't know, man. He could have gone pretty much anywhere he wanted to if he entered the transfer portal. I mean, there would have been teams lining up to get him. He's a real deal, and well, hey, good news for him is he doesn't have to worry about playing for them next year because he'll be in the NFL, I think.
I mean, there are obviously success stories of guys in the transfer portal, but I think there are probably way more stories of, guys transferring somewhere else and not living up to whatever expectation.
Well, yeah, just as a percentage, there's no doubt about that. But there's so many players that transfer that, yeah, I think the high percentage is the ones that don't really work out. I don't know what the percentage number is, but
I don't either.
Less than 20% probably work out. I mean, that sounds fair to me. Maybe around 20, 1 out of 5 guys, maybe. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've gotten pretty lucky with some transfers, over the years. A couple wide receivers have done really well. Obviously, Cam Ward's done well. Tyler Barron's played well.
Yeah, Clemson hasn't had a single bust at transfer.
Well, yeah, that is an accurate statement.
Did you guys see the? I think it was this past game. It was like it was a really funny graphic. Sometimes they put funny graphics on the broadcast, and it was like a club, and it was the ACC letting in 238 transfers in the offseason or something like that. And then on the Clemson side, it was Dabo, and he was the bouncer. And it said no entry.
Speaking of graphics stirring up some controversy, did y'all happen to see what was floating around the interwebs yesterday?
You have to be more specific.
About Quinn Ewers?
You're talking about Quinn Ewers, yeah.
No, what? What are you talking about?
That was fake, right?
247 claims they were hacked. Somebody posted a graphic on 247's Instagram.
Oh, that he was leaving the team or something?
No, that he was done for the year, preparing for the NFL.
Yeah, leaving the team, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And nothing has been, I mean, it was very quickly deleted. But, I mean, Mom's been the word about it ever since.
Yeah, I saw they said they got hacked. Which
seems to be the catch-all excuse, though.
Which means somebody posted something they shouldn't have, and they probably lost their job.
Yeah. Where'd you say? Who did that? 247 did that, you said?
Yeah, 247.
Yeah. I don't know why he would do that.
Well, I don't know why he would either, but I mean, let's be honest. Every college football fan has been waiting on that shoe to drop.
Well, the Texas fans are a little bit unrealistic when it comes to Arch Manning. I mean, I understand that you've been sitting around waiting for Arch Manning for the past couple of years and you can't wait to get him in the game. But Quinn Ewers is still one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He wasn't the problem in that game. Now, did he play great? No. But he wasn't the problem in that game.
Well, and let's be honest about it, too. You're going against Georgia's defense.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the decision to bench him for – how long was he benched for, a quarter or something?
Wait, I thought he got hurt.
No, he got benched.
Oh.
No, he got benched. I kind of agree with it. Like, if you can't get anything going, sometimes set a guy down. Sometimes they need it, or you just throw the other guy in and see if there's a spark.
Yeah, I don't know, man. In a game like that, I would.
In that situation, I don't know if I agree with it, but just in general.
Yeah.
It's very Steve Spurrier to do that. Spurrier did that all the time, just yanking guys in and out. And I don't. Like, if it works, you look like a genius, but most of the time it doesn't. Now you've killed the confidence of your starting quarterback.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Steve Spurrier that said if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
sounds to me like Spurrier, the old ball coach, talking out both sides of his neck.
Well, that's Steve Spurrier for you. But Quinn Ewers, I mean, going before the Georgia game last week, he was in everybody's Heisman list. It's like one game, and now nobody's talking. Now it's like, oh my God, we have a quarterback controversy going on. I don't think there should. If he's not hurt, he should be starting the remainder of the games. Period.
I agree. Like, I think that's terrible for college football if that actually happens.
What happens, that he opts out basically for them?
Yeah, a quarterback just quits on the a quarterback on a top 10 one-loss team just quits on the season.
I don't think he's going to quit. The question is, are they just going to make a quarterback change and put him on the bench? But
that's insane if they do. I mean, this is the quarterback that led them deeper into the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Right? He was a game away from a national title.
Yeah. And first of all, I don't think they're going to bench him, but there is a lot of that conversation going around. Texas fans, look, they're overreacting to the Georgia game. It's a massive overreaction. They're still one of the...
And Bama fans are doing the same thing, because, I mean, now, granted, two different situations. I mean, benching Jalen Milroe may actually be the right decision.
I don't know. Who's behind him?
Ty Simpson.
Oh, well, then I disagree with you.
The guy they benched last year.
Yeah.
Put Jalen in.
No, Ty's never been the starter. I mean, him and that lacrosse player played in the South Florida game, but that's really all you saw of him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that they started like three different quarterbacks last year.
Yeah.
That's another team. Speaking of Alabama, Milroe's not the problem with that. I mean, they got all kinds of problems.
Yeah. You want to talk about a fan base that's getting ready to melt down, and I'm talking a meltdown of epic proportions.
They kind of already are, aren't they? And this is the issue with taking over after Saban. Is he beats Georgia, all right, there's no gap here, and then he struggles, and we got to fire this guy. They're already talking about that.
Oh yeah, like the dude. I mean, there are clips going viral from Paul Feinbaum this week.
Well, Paul Feinbaum's a troll.
Yeah, he's a troll.
What Paul Feinbaum is, and the people that call into his show are obviously the lowest common denominator, but they are a pretty good barometer of the fan base.
Y'all remember last year when Saban retired and they were looking for a coach, and of course Dabo's name came up.
Yes.
Dabo confirmed that he got a call from Alabama during that search, just gauging his interest in possibly taking the job there. He told him, no, thank you, I'm happy where I'm at. Of course, the Alabama fans denied that happened. I guess they think that Dabo Swinney's lying for some reason about it, which clearly he wasn't.
And listen, if you don't call Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart, you're not doing your job as an athletic director.
All right, so that moves me to my next. This is why this is so funny to me. I don't really have that much hate for Alabama. I mean, we played each other in the playoffs a few times, and that was fun and everything. I don't really hate Alabama, but the Alabama fans took it to another level during that coaching search. They had a little powwow on campus where there was 18 people all with a bullhorn, chanting "Anybody but Dabo, anybody but Dabo, anybody but Dabo."
And they're jilted like I am over Collins, but with Dabo.
Now, I mentioned that on Twitter yesterday. I said, oh, yeah, the anybody but Dabo crowd is really silent right now. Of course, Alabama fans in the comments going, oh, no, we still don't want him. I don't care what you say. We don't want him. Yeah. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, meanwhile, Clemson's number 9 in the country, and Alabama's an afterthought. So have fun with Kalen DeBoer.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't take Dabo over Mario for obvious reasons, but take Mario out of the equation. Yeah, call Dabo. He's one of the best coaches in the country.
Well, I mean, how many coaches have a national title ring coaching right now? Matt Brown, Dabo, Kirby.
That's it.
Well, how many have multiple national titles? Only Dabo and Kirby.
Yeah, two.
So. But I'm glad he said, I'm glad they did the never anybody but Dabo thing. I would like to keep him.
Well, that's smart for Dabo. I mean, why would you go from making what he's making at Clemson, you're the guy, to if he's in the same situation as DeBoer, they're ready to fire him right now, too. I mean, there's no win for him.
No, and I've said this for years. I think, is there a possibility that at some point in Dabo's late in his career, that he goes back to his alma mater? Maybe. I mean, maybe, but right now,
I understand that. Yeah.
Right now, though, there's no. I mean, he is the Nick Saban of Clemson.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to build a statue of this guy. He's like a god around there. So why would you leave god status at a place where you're still winning fairly consistently to go take over a team from the greatest that ever did it? You're right. There's really no upside as far other than maybe the amount of money they pay him. But I mean, he's already making almost $12 million a year. I mean, how much more money can they pay him?
Plus his endorsements, and plus, what would Bama have to pay his? They wouldn't have to pay the rest of his contract at Clemson to hire him?
Well, there's actually a clause in the contract. There's two. I think there was 2 teams in there. Well, Alabama was one in his contract. If he leaves, and he goes to Alabama, it drastically reduces his buyout.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because they just don't want him going to Alabama. Well, I guess they think that's the most likely place that he would go if he did leave. So they just
reduces his buyout or increases it.
No, if he leaves on his own accord to take the Alabama job, then he gets less than half of his buyout, I think.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that all works. All I know is Alabama's in the contract for a reason.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would understand it, but at the same time, as long as he had been in Clemson and Alabama had the boosters and everybody in check at Alabama the way that Dabo does at Clemson, to where nobody can really say anything to him. Why would you want to have to start over from square one?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. But of course, you had the people that were saying that Dabo's washed up. He needs to get out of Clemson while he can. If he's going to get a job offer at a place like Alabama, he needs to definitely take it because Clemson's a sinking ship, and the whole thing. Which clearly they were wrong about that.
And so Dabo's washed up to go to the most high pressure environment in the country in Alabama.
And of course, that's why the Alabama fans say they don't want him. It's not because they don't like him. He's an Alabama guy, but it's the transfer portal thing. But hey, newsflash: Nick Saban didn't like the transfer portal either. Now he did use it under protest, but that's one of the main reasons he's not coaching right now.
It is. Yeah, he liked winning way more than he disliked the transfer portal.
Right. Yeah. Now that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, he did leave, and I mean, look, there's been a ton of coaches, or maybe not a ton, but there's been several coaches that are like, I don't want to deal with this. Can I just go be a position coach somewhere or coordinator? I mean, we got into a weird place in college football.
It is also,
and I don't think it's because of where it is now. I think it's because of where they see it going to. And you're seeing it like, people are saying, oh, well, it's inevitable. These players are become employees. And, I'm sorry, that's when college football is fucking dead.
It's, you know what? You're already starting to see a lot of, like you just mentioned. Why would you want to be a head coach when you can go be a coordinator somewhere and not have the pressure? And not only that, we're seeing people leave head coaching jobs in college to take coordinator jobs in the NFL. Because and I understand that though. I really do, because and Kirby to me had the best press conference about this. I mean, you're only working 100 some odd days a year as an NFL head coach, or as a coordinator, or as a position coach, or whatever. I mean, it's really become, because of the transfer portal, you have to re-recruit your entire team every year on top of the recruiting class that you have to recruit.
Well, the NFL has a proven system. So
right.
You have a players union. You don't have teams suing the NFL. You don't have players demanding money before games. Like, it's just
right. Easy. And they have a very defined free agency thing. The transfer portal is a free for all. It's much more difficult to manage a college program, I believe, right now than an NFL franchise. And I don't really know if that's going to change anytime soon.
Well, and last time I checked, there was still over 2,500 names in there in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are going to throw their fucking futures away before everybody as a whole looks at it and goes, okay, this is a fucking problem?
Well, and you just have players testing the waters. I mean, the Techs had 2 players, I think, that were like, all right, I'm hitting the portal. And then they're like, psych, never mind, dummies. I'm totally committed to Georgia Tech. And then we also had 2 players that came in for the spring, transferred in for the spring, transferred out after the spring game.
What about that? What was the guy that transferred out of Alabama to Iowa and then transferred back to Alabama after?
Yeah.
Caden Proctor.
In like a week span.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you can't blame the kids. Like, they're existing in the system that they're in.
Oh, I don't blame them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them to an extent, but what I mean is, okay, you can't transfer anywhere. Nobody can transfer anywhere. There are 2,500 names in there. That's 2,500 players that you're not on a team. You're not taking classes. You're not doing shit.
And a big percentage of them never find a home. They just die in the portal, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a real.
I mean, that's my point. That's a whole lot of players that, like I said, are just throwing their futures away. Because I get it. As football fans, we just focus on the guys that are going to the NFL and end up in the NFL. But it is a literal fact that over 99% of them will never play another snap of football after college.
It's true.
It is true. That also is the reason you can't blame them if they're trying to catch some kind of bag. You get every dollar they can get while they're in college because they know they're not going to be in the NFL, or at least there's a chance that they might not. I mean,
or you could remember that you're in college to get a college education for free, and use your fucking time wisely.
Okay, listen to me. I agree with you, but we're old farts, Slim. You try telling that to a 19-year-old kid. Don't worry about the $800,000 that so-and-so school wants to pay you. Just worry about your education. When I was 19 years old, I'd have been like, fuck you, I'm taking $800,000, kiss my ass. I don't care.
Of course. Like, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, I know you like where you're working. Do you want to come work for me tomorrow for 3 times as much? You'd be like, yeah.
Well, I'm not talking about the guys that are guaranteed to go somewhere because they're great. I'm talking about the 2,500 players that are fucked.
Well,
Yeah, not good for them.
yeah, well, they'll learn a life lesson. I mean, and part of the problem is because there's so much money involved in it now, is that you get these agents in there and all that, and you get people's parents are greedy, and they give these kids bad life advice. I mean,
They do, and I had a bunch of people come at me on Twitter because I said something about that. I was like, and this obviously isn't every case, but there are a lot of cases where you have parents looking at their kids as a come up.
oh yeah,
Well, or like Pete said, they're just giving them bad advice because, look, every parent wants the best 10 players in their kid on the field. And
Right.
they can't realistic. Like I've had parents come at me, right? And it's like, look, I mean, it is what it is. We've had some situations where, my kids.
Well, yeah. Well, when your kid's 5'3" and $160, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Well, even if they have the potential to be, play well, they're just not. It's like they're not playing well. I don't know what to tell you.
So you've had parents get mad at you, what, Georgia Tech parents?
One in particular, Christian Leary's mom, got really upset with me.
Yeah.
And only because, and all I said was, he's not living up to his potential as I see it. And she went off on me. And I apologized for it, which I'll never do again if I don't feel like it's.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. That's
Well,
actually a good rule.
that's a good rule of life anyway. Never apologize. Just
I
deal
don't know
with it.
about life. It's kind of hard to stay in a relationship and not apologize. Believe me, I know. But on YouTube, you should never apologize, ever.
So what you're saying is you should never admit you're wrong?
On YouTube.
Oh, man, I made a whole video admitting I was wrong today.
Well, not for like something like that. That's what I'm saying. Because
Right.
nothing good ever comes out of it. You're never going to be like, you know what? I was too hard on your kid. Well, actually, that's exactly what happened recently. Don't worry about me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It is funny that she's worried about some guy on YouTube talking about her kid, though. But I don't know. I guess
Fat-ass white dude.
if
Well, I mean, she's far from the only one. DJ's dad is very worried about what people say about his
oh
kid
my
on the
God.
internet.
Oh, he threatens to like hurt people. He threatens violence, for real violence.
I think he would put hands on someone.
I think he would too. Didn't he used to be like a bouncer for fucking Snoop Dogg or something like that?
What?
That's something.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I'll take a baseball bat to your kneecaps.
He was like a personal security guard for, I think it was Snoop or somebody, some rapper out in L.A. When he was younger.
Yeah, when he was young. He ain't no spring chicken.
No, he's still a giant human being, though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, I can still move faster and catch them knees with a baseball bat.
Yeah, he does get mad. You know who's funny though? T. Higgins' mom on Twitter. Because of course, if the Bengals lose a game, then people start, oh my God, T. Higgins played like trash today. She does get mad, and she'll respond if you tag her or him in any tweet and you say something negative about him. She's coming after you, son.
I will say, like, if my kid was playing and people were trashing them, like, I'm sure that would be hard, but I would just have to stay off social media.
Well, here's the thing. When it comes to if they're criticizing the way he's playing, I don't care if they say it in a derogatory manner. They're still talking about the way he's playing. Like, people aren't running around, saying that, DJ kicks buckets full of kittens or something. You know, like nobody's insinuating that DJ is a terrible person. They're just like, bro, you're mid as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, he is a terrible person.
And for the record, I've got no reason to think DJ's a terrible person. From everything I've heard, actually a nice guy.
Nah, he's not a good dude.
Yeah, he is a good dude. His dad's not. Dad's a piece of shit, but you can't choose.
His other son has him blocked on Twitter too.
Who, Mateo?
Yeah.
He is a good player. He will play in the NFL.
Oh, Mateo will?
Yeah. DJ won't, though.
I don't know, man. If somebody took Anthony Richardson in the first round, anything's possible.
No, listen to me. DJ's not playing in the NFL. He's not getting drafted. No.
Didn't Jake Fromm get drafted?
He did, and he was put on the COVID reserve list, and I think they literally put him in a hotel room during COVID in case literally the whole quarterback.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he had to sit in a hotel and hope that they called him to come play. That's weird.
Sick yet?
Hey, Jake, we need you to come play, buddy. Hold on, I'm watching The Sopranos. I'll be there in about 3 hours.
Yeah. Put me in a hotel in Des Moines, Iowa. So
DJ's sitting there telling me, well, there's a chance.
Yeah, he played for the Bills. That was right.
Hey, DJ,
That's right.
I don't know how much money he made. The reports are that he got about $450,000 this year to go to Florida State. I don't know if that's true or not. 600,000?
Yeah.
All right, somewhere around $500,000, give or take. I think he had a deal. I know he had a deal with Bojangles and Dr. Pepper when he was at Clemson. I don't know how much that deal was worth. And Beats, that's right.
I guarantee when he was at Clemson, he made 7 figures. I guarantee it.
I don't know about that.
If not, damn close to. Between all of them, I'm talking about all of them combined.
I could tell you the market for a slightly above average quarterback, or maybe a little better than that. It's about $500,000 a year.
So we talked about this in the midday show. So you know who Nate Wiggins is, right?
Yes, of course.
Rec?
No.
He was a defensive back for Clemson. He's who does he play for now? The Ravens, I think. Yeah. So anyway, he was the best defensive back for Clemson for the past couple of seasons. He got drafted by the Ravens. He was on a podcast last week, and they asked him about did he ever think about leaving Clemson to go chase a bag somewhere else because he was one of the best players in the country. And he said, yeah. He said after my sophomore year. He said, I was definitely going to leave, and I had my agent call Dabo and tell him either pay me or I'm entering the transfer portal. And according to him, they paid him. They got him a deal, and he stayed.
Damn, he put his notice in, and they gave him a counter.
Yeah.
I've never understood where all the talk came from of no NIL at Clemson. That I never understood. I mean, obviously the transfer portal stuff, but
no, I tell you for a fact they use NIL.
Well, yeah. I never understood it either, but it's because of what Dabo said about paying players. So they just assume that. Now he might not like it, but he's doing it because he has to.
Well, and if you listen to what Dabo said, it was more along the lines of, and I thought it was pretty clear. Because Dabo said when the university is paying players, NIL isn't the university paying players.
No.
Oh, so he's mincing words, so it's not against his morals. If it's not the school paying them.
Well, I don't think many people at all have ever had outside of the NCAA have had a problem with NIL.
Yeah.
But I do agree with this fact. I do agree that players are more than fairly compensated from the universities and from the NCAA at this point.
Sure, players. That's something that's not being talked about. That I know Tech is going through. You got to get money together to pay out this settlement for the NCAA. That's on the schools.
Well, that's why you're selling games for $10 million to Arthur Blank.
That's exactly why. Yeah, that's not even a joke.
I know.
That's why.
Are you guys, Slim is of the opinion that you guys are just eventually going to transition into Mercedes-Benz being your home stadium? Is that?
No.
No, come
No,
on.
we're renovating Bobby Dodd.
Oh, you are?
We just raised $300 million of half.
300 million?
They're getting rid of the bleachers. They're putting in chair backs.
Really?
Yeah, and they're putting a new jumbotron.
Oh.
It's gonna be totally badass and cool. Slim.
There you go, Slim. So I guess that shoots that theory down.
Yeah, eat my shorts, Slim.
Yeah, somebody on the internet said it, so it must be true.
You got pawned, bro. You got pawned.
First of all, Rec is an insider. I think he knows what he's talking about.
No, I think it was some chick, and he was talking about being inside her, not an insider.
Yeah, I was like, I said, hey, baby, you want to know how much of an insider I am?
I really thought you guys were just going to let that stadium crumble, like get condemned by the city, and then use that as an excuse to move to Mercedes-Benz.
I don't like it.
And I still think that's going to happen.
Not everybody wants to play in an NFL stadium, Slim.
Well, it's like a mall.
I didn't say you wanted to. I just said that's what was going to happen. I didn't want the Orange Bowl to get tore down, but that's what happened.
Well, stop projecting onto me, bro.
Yeah, why are you
I'm not
projecting?
projecting anything. It's just a prediction of what I think is going to
Our
happen.
own beautiful historic stadium that's getting renovated. It's going to be even more beautiful. It's going to be.
Well, I don't know about beautiful, but
New
it's a
sound
stadium.
system too.
I do like the idea of seat backs, though.
Yep.
Oh, it's great.
Well, that's something I've said I think the whole country is going to end up going to. With as astronomical and ridiculous as ticket prices are getting,
Yeah, but
I think it's going to demand.
you reduce
seating.
the capacity significantly when you do that.
Oh, I understand that.
Like a place like Clemson, I mean, you got 80,000 or 82,000 or whatever the capacity is jammed in there on these fucking benches. You put seat backs in there, it's going to go down 20,000.
But you get to watch it comfortably, and most of the country's a big fat fuck like me, and we need
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't hate on Hard Rock because it's comfy.
Yeah, who else? There's another Minnesota. When they redid their stadium, they had those seat backs all over the stadium too. That's a nice stadium. Not very big, but it's nice.
Well, plus at Clemson, dude, if you were in the uppers like I was last year, you better train for that because that thing's.
Bruh, what'd you preach?
Look,
Preach.
just the decision to go pee during the game is a business decision. Like you start thinking like, hey, I might be able to hold it for one more quarter. This way, if I go pee, I only have to come back up one more time. If I go now, I might have to pee again before the end of the game. Then I'll have to come back up twice. I can't do that.
Dude,
we go to this Clemson game a couple of years ago. My poor aunt's in her 50s, and we got upper deck tickets at Clemson.
Yeah, we were like, what, 5 rows from the very top, right? I mean, we were right up there.
I don't know if we were that close to the. I think we were halfway on the upper.
No,
deck.
we were more than halfway. Anyway, we were way up there.
yeah, I mean, if it were me and it was a noon game and it was hot, I might just pee my pants, and then it's 85 by the end of the game.
Well, unfortunately, it was a 3:30 kick, and when that sun went down and that wind was whipping in off the lake, that would have been a poor life choice.
Yeah, it was a little.
That game was in November. It got nipply.
Yeah, it did. It was very cold. I'm surprised more people don't fall down those. Not forget going up. I'm talking about going down. It's more difficult to go down those bleachers than it is up. Believe it or not.
It'd be all she wrote. I mean, when I was there, I saw some like older couples, and I was quite concerned for them.
Yeah, I'm concerned for me.
Yeah, I'm about to say, fuck them old people. I'm concerned for myself.
You got to take a couple of stops on the way up to catch your breath.
I know my aunt did that. Like I said, that poor lady's in her 50s. She had to stop and take a break. She's like, ain't nobody sitting here for the moment? Good.
Vic's in here.
Vic is in here. What's up, Vic?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Evening, Mr. Tube.
Good evening. Yeah.
What do you think about that, Vic?
About what?
I don't know. anything.
Have you been to an away game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been to one.
He's a world traveler. Of course he has.
Well, Vic doesn't have our problems. Vic's got reserved parking at every game.
Yeah, I've been to a Georgia game at Auburn. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's not a.
yeah, it's the only road game that I've been to. I've been to a few home games.
They flew that eagle over you.
Yeah,
Nice.
The Eagle didn't shit on your head, did it?
no, no.
That would have had Pigskin Pete very upset.
Yes, I'm shaking right now just thinking about it.
Although I did get pooped on by a seagull once, but
Damn, dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
it did.
where's your concern there, Pete?
Yeah, it did a flyby. Yeah.
Well, if you get pooped on by a seagull in the wild, that's on you. I don't blame the seagull for that. You're in his way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Would it be okay then if a random bird flying by shit on Vic's head in Auburn Stadium? It's only a problem if the Eagle does it?
Yes.
Okay. I would have that ironed out.
Yes. I mean, clearly. Dennis Wilson, it's good to see you again, I guess. But apparently, I didn't even know this was possible, but you've got dumber over the past 3 years somehow.
Oh, what did he do now?
I don't know, just everything he says.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
I'm unaware. Yeah, this is a long time troll for you.
Oh, yes.
Dennis Wilson's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I've had to deal with the repercussions of a lot of the shit that he types.
He's a Miami fan. So he only really shows up around here when Miami is good, which is why he's here now.
That's why it's been a while.
That's why right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see he's in there going 7-0. Yeah. Clemson's washed up, blah, blah, blah. We know. We know.
I mean, I wouldn't call Clemson washed up. I definitely think we can beat them, but I wouldn't call them washed up.
Yeah, you aren't washed up. Yeah. Yeah, you aren't washed up.
Well, they went from saying he's washed up and, they don't have a chance to compete with anybody anymore and Dabo's days are done. And now they've reverted to, well, the only reason they look so good is because, who have they played? They're moving the goalpost on me.
I didn't believe that Dabo had forgotten how to coach. But, I mean, even you had to admit, over that 5-6 year span, there was more than a slight downward trajectory.
Yes, there was.
Well, 2 years with DJ weren't great, but he still won 10 and 11 games with him, and which is the best coaching job this century by anybody to win 10 or 11 games with DJ. And then you had Cade Klubnik's first year as a starter last year, which was a disaster. So everyone just sort of assumed that because it was a disaster last year, it was going to be a disaster this year, and they were wrong.
I mean, was it even a disaster? It's just that Dabo's raised the expectation at Clemson.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, even I said that. This is all based off of the standard that Dabo had set at Clemson.
Exactly. 8-4 is a disaster by the standard that Dabo set.
Sure.
He said they're going to be 8-4.
It was a disaster. I mean, they were better than an 8-4 team in the ACC last year, but they found a way to lose 4 games somehow. But some great hires in offseason. Obviously, the Matt Luke hire, the offensive lines coach, was a huge thing. I mean, that's been Clemson's Achilles heel for a while now. Is the offensive line. They're not Alabama or Georgia's offensive line or Notre Dame or somebody like that, but they're 100% improved from where they were last year.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's definite improvement there.
Yeah, and it took until year 2 for the Garrett Garrett the offense to start working. Yeah.
It also helps that we have some competent receivers now, too.
Yeah, I was about to say they haven't had, and this is something me and Pete agreed on, that the wide receiver room had definitely been a problem really since 2020.
Yeah,
Because as bad as DJ was in 21, like you could watch Clemson play, and a lot like Florida State. Yes, DJ's a problem, but there were bigger problems than DJ in 21.
Right. Yeah, wasn't Garrett Riley supposed to fix the offense in 2023?
Well, it was his first year there, and he had a first-year starting quarterback, a terrible offensive line, and a decimated wide receiver room.
All right, so it took until year 2 to save the offense.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've gotten better everywhere. I mean, obviously the quarterback's way better. The receiver room's better. The offensive line's better. So all those things help, right? I mean...
Oh, of course. I said it Mario's first year. You look at a lot of our problems started with the offensive line. Well, shit, we lost 6 or 7 guys to season-ending injuries. That'll decimate anybody's hopes for a decent offense.
Yeah, but you do have one 9-year guy, so.
Yeah, he wasn't 9th year at the time, but yeah, we do.
Now,
I guess he was in Mario's carry-on when he came over from Oregon, I guess.
Yeah, brought his wife and kids with him.
Meanwhile...
I mean, I get it, though. Like, I didn't know the details of it until they did that story about him before the Florida game. But, I mean, I get it after they botched his surgeries at Oregon and all that kind of stuff.
Rough.
Vic, since you're a Georgia fan, we could talk about them for just a second. We're going to end the show here in just a minute. But are you of the opinion that Beck is worse than he was last year? He's going the other way. Cade Klubnik is trending upwards. Is Carson Beck trending downwards?
Yes.
He is.
Yes.
He's a turnover machine.
He's thrown for more yards so far this year.
Yeah. He's thrown more interceptions.
Yeah, I was going to say he's throwing it to the other team more, too.
Well, okay, but once again, 1 + 1 = 2. You're throwing the ball more than you've ever thrown it, so you're gonna throw more picks.
Yeah, but he's having 3-pick games.
Yeah, multiple 3-pick games.
Well, yeah.
Klubnik has 3 picks on the year, which is pretty good. Now, the one he threw last week was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was.
Well, and see, that's it with me. Like, it depends on the pick. Like, there's some of them I can't put on Carson Beck, and I hold the same standard for all quarterbacks. Because when somebody gets a hand on the ball, whether it's a lineman or whether a receiver pops it up, that's just not on the quarterback.
Yeah, it's not his fault. Yeah, it still goes down on the.
Yeah, it still goes down on the stat sheet. I think Cam Ward's got 5 or 6, but 3 of them were pop-ups. A couple of them were really bad. Like the one in the Cal game was really bad. That's absolutely on him.
So how many of Jameis Winston's 30 interceptions were his fault, and how many of them were not?
29 and a half of them were his fault.
Well, that's one of those. He's not too far off. I mean, you've got sure-handed guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They're not popping up a whole bunch of balls.
Right.
He's got 15 touchdowns on 8 picks right now with a 76.9 QBR.
Mm.
Who, Winston or Beck?
Beck. Yeah, Carson Beck.
Yeah, that's not good.
And he's got 1,993 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? He's doing better than Patrick, my homeboy, right now.
I don't know. Patrick, my homeboy, is undefeated, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's according to the script, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the script. Here we go.
You know what?
Hey, once again, I like making fun of those NFL scripted guys as much as the next person. They got a fucking argument right now.
And
saying.
You do.
I don't know. The stars have aligned for the conspiracy nuts, for sure.
It has.
Yeah.
Well, it is a good way for, like, if you get beat by the Chiefs, like, we didn't really lose it. It was the script.
Yeah, it was the script. Now, I do like pointing to the NFL, to all the people that think that full-time refs are going to solve all of our problems in college football, and go, no, it's not. Because NFL refs are just as bad.
Yeah, they are. They are. I mean, that's something that that Lou has harped on for years about needing full-time officials.
Well, even the NFL referees, most of them have a 9-to-5 job for the rest of the year. They're not even really technically full-time. I mean, their salary isn't enough. The amount of money that the NFL and the owners make, they should be able to pay the refs more so they don't have to have a second job.
Yeah.
And they can focus 12 months on a year on training and, courses and whatever else.
Well, guess what? They could go. I don't care how many seminars they go to for 12 months out of the year. They're still not going to figure out what a catch is. I'm convinced.
Part of that's not on them. I mean, I talked to a 31-year veteran SEC official for 45 minutes and put that video out today. I don't think people realize what all that goes into it, and I don't know that they're paid horrible. I don't know what college football officials make.
Oh, it's not much.
Yeah.
Well, when I officiated basketball, my association at the height of it did D1 women's, and they made $1,750 a game, so $1,750 a game, and they might do, because there's just more basketball games, 40 or 50 games. Man, that's a pretty good check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what. Did you ask him how much they make? I mean, that's kind of rude, I guess, but.
No, I didn't.
Hey, how much money you make, man? I would be curious to know. I mean, it's got to be public information. If I had to guess, I would say maybe $30,000 a season. Does that sound bad?
I mean, if basketball refs are getting $1,750 a game, I guarantee you that football refs are getting more.
They're getting more, but there's a lot less games.
I think it's around the $3,000 mark a game.
3,000 a game, so 12 times. Let's say they only coach 12. So we can do the math there.
In fact, it might be more now that I look at that. It would not surprise me if they make $50,000 or $60,000 a year doing their.
Maybe. I'm sure the NFL reps make more than that too, but.
Well, and let's be perfectly honest about it. Just say for the sake of argument, Rex right. Okay, you're only working 4 months out of the year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why having them full time. I mean, what are they going to do in the off season?
Train.
Exactly.
Well, they already do that.
Yeah, not enough.
I guess they can do it more.
But I think you guys are under the impression they just go to some class or something.
Yeah, but they don't. But they should. That's what my point. They should be doing that. They should be in a classroom in the off season. And
well, I think you can sit in a classroom all you want. I don't think it's going to fix, bang bang stuff during a play on the field where you only have a look from it from whatever vantage point you're at. And if there's another player in your way, well, you don't have a vantage point of it.
Yeah, but you can get this came up. This guy that I talked to broke down that Texas Georgia call. So you can pick up a flag, right? Because there's 7 officials on the field. One of them might have a better look. And he was saying what'll happen in a game is one of the officials will run over and say, "Hey, what did you see on that?" Which is really a nice way of saying, "I think you fucked that up." And then they wave the flag off.
Okay, all right. Well, I've never seen a penalty get announced and then get waved off.
Well, I think the reason that happened is because it took them 10 minutes to clear the field, and they were able to, number one, like Rex said, talk about it, and number two, that play was probably shown about 30 times on the Jumbotron, and they were like, "Oh, shit, we got that one wrong."
That only happened because the Texas fans threw shit.
That's why I said we've learned.
I mean, that's a fun theory. That's a funny theory and everything. I don't think that's what it was at all. I think Slim hit the nail on the head. They had enough time to sit there and watch the Jumbotron replay 10 times, and they realized they were wrong, and they just changed it. Now I've never seen anything like that. I don't think anybody has, but I think I don't really think that they were scared of the Texas fans, which is what some people are suggesting.
No, I don't believe that. Now, granted, that's one of those judgment call things. Like, you sit there and look at the replay of it. By the letter of the rule, yes, they can throw the flag. My personal opinion on it, if I'm a referee in that situation, it's mutual back and forth. You let it go.
It was a bad call.
It was a bad call.
The PI call was.
It was, yeah.
And like we said, at the end of the day, it didn't matter.
No.
It didn't affect the outcome of the game. If it would have, then we'd be having a different conversation right now, but it didn't. You know, if Georgia had lost a close game, they'd be big mad about that call.
You mean in one like maybe Miami, Virginia Tech, where it did change the outcome?
Oh yeah, like exactly like that one.
Yeah, we just win 30 to
Right.
8 instead of 30 to 15.
Yeah.
True, and this guy's take was the biggest mess up there was that it took them so long to signal a touchdown. If they would have came in and sold it, hey, it's a touchdown in that Miami Virginia Tech game, probably could have avoided a lot of that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, me and you talked about that. If they had just not made a call and all scoring plays get reviewed, just let the booth make the call, I think it would have worked out a whole lot better, because on that replay, you could see the ball constantly moving around. That means nobody has possession.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is they didn't make a definitive call for a while. So whatever call you're going to make, you need to confidently make it.
Yeah, I
If it's
agree.
on the back judge, then the field judge needs to come in and sell it like it's WWE. I mean, you got to.
But they waited until both referees ran over there, and by the time they both ran over there, a Miami player's coming up with the ball.
Yeah.
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 Right. And then the ACC office had some ad hoc rationalization for it. That,
Right.
well, a Miami player was out of bounds and they were the first to touch it.
Yeah, ad hoc, yeah.
ACC refs are the worst. I know every conference thinks they have the worst refs because they watch their conference more than other conferences. I'm here to tell you, when Clemson played against Georgia in week 1, they go, "Oh, good news, Pete. They got ACC refs." I go, "That's not good news. I'd rather SEC refs in this game." What you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. That narrative may be a little switched now. Because, I mean, for all the controversy around ACC refs, you had, obviously, the Texas game. South Carolina, in my opinion, got absolutely screwed against LSU.
They did.
Everybody agrees on that. I think that's a pretty universal. Huh?
I don't think that's on the refs, though. That's something they're being told to do. That's more a problem with the conference or NCAA as a whole as to how they want the game officiated. Because these refs will have meetings like twice a month, and they'll be like, "All right, this is what we want." So they're being told to do that.
Yeah.
Either way, that was one of the most egregious.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
that did cost South Carolina the game, for real.
Yeah.
It did, and I wish we could just get, okay, if you can't touch the quarterback ever, then you need to say that. Can we just get a firm decision on?
Yeah, you're not going to get well, again, it's like targeting. One ref will call it this way, the other ref will call it that way, and neither one of them is technically wrong under the guise of the rule. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think when it comes to targeting, I think it's the rule that needs to go. But
I think in the rule there's intention that's in the rule. Like, what was their intention to do this or that?
No, there's no. That's the thing. They say they don't legislate intention, and they should.
Well, I don't think they can. And we were talking about this on the midday show. And actually, it's not even think. I know for a fact they can't, because last time I checked, not a single referee in any sport is a mind reader.
But they do it in other sports.
Well, yes, and I'm saying that's bullshit because they're not mind readers.
I don't know. It seems to me it's better than the current model. Instead of like in basketball, the flagrant foul versus a regular foul, or a yellow card versus a red card in soccer. So it's being done, and it works fine.
Yeah, so instead of
I don't think that it does. That's my argument.
Instead of a blanket, you're out of the game. There should be levels.
Not all targeting is created equal.
Right. So here's a perfect example. The running back lowers to brace for contact to your level as the tackler, and then you meet head to head and they call targeting.
Yeah.
This has happened. Obviously, his intention was not to do that. He was already in position. That's different than a wide receiver coming across the middle and you lower the crown of your helmet to just ear hole
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. It's just like how not all R-rated movies are created equal. There's levels to it.
Well, and here's my thing though, especially when it comes to your scenario coming across the middle, because those of us that are older remember you used to have to pay a toll to catch a ball across the middle. That's just the way it was in football. But they're calling that's what really gets me is now they want to say, oh, this player's defenseless, so I can't tackle him now. Is that what you're saying?
It's kind of become that where you literally have to adjust your body in a way that might not be safe for you, that you might be more prone to injury to avoid hitting a quote unquote defenseless player.
Well, and that's something Tom Brady has talked about and some other players. I mean, okay, ever since you've enacted these targeting rules, you're not really even showing a drop in the amount of concussions per game. But what has gone up exponentially is knee injuries.
The concussions of it have not gone down.
No.
But he's right. Because they go, they're trying to hit low instead of high so they don't get fined or get a penalty. And then, now all of a sudden you're blowing people's knees out.
Well, sliding is another example of that. The quarterback slides kind of at the last minute.
Yeah, and then so you hit him in the head. Yeah, because
Yeah, and I mean, especially if you have already left your feet to go after him and he starts sliding, what the fuck are you supposed to do in midair at that point? There's literally nothing you can do.
I'm flying through there. Yeah, I don't know.
Which is why if I was Travis Hunter, I'd want to play wide receiver instead of defensive back.
Yeah, right.
For that reason. Well.
But don't worry, folks. You can. We only care about it in one sport. We don't care about it in others. That's why I call bullshit on the people that, I'm just worried about player safety. No, you're not. You're not worried about anybody's safety.
Well, they have to pretend like they're worried about it. That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slim just likes CTE, dude.
Hey, you know what you can do? And there was actually a Tampa offensive lineman doing it last night. Wore one of those fucking cushions on his helmet.
It's the Guardian cap, yeah.
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 In a game?
Yes.
Wow.
That guy Bills, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, one of Tampa's offensive linemen was wearing that cap over his helmet.
Really?
A little pillow pad.
Damn, dude, what a puss. But that's what all the defensive players are saying.
You sound like
I think they should fucking take off the pads, go back to leather helmets. Yeah, be like the Australians. Have some balls.
You just take up rugby then.
Them some bitches are tough.
They are tough.
Hey, ain't nobody worried about no CTE in Australia.
Well, they ain't worried about it, but it's definitely there.
Well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I don't want anybody to get CTE, but I mean,
I'm pretty sure like the majority of the Australian government has CTE.
Yeah, well.
Speaking of which, when are they gonna let Tua play again?
Let him play
Next
again.
week, I think.
When he can write his name.
When he can say the out.
Actually, you want to know where this comes from? I mean, all this shit, like targeting, comes from the owners because they're paying quarterbacks so much, and they're paying wide receivers so much that I mean, really, these rule changes they're not about safety. They're to protect their investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. It always comes down to money. We all know that.
Yep.
Well,
It all
as
comes
someone
down.
who's been knocked out cold on a football field, it's not even that bad. I don't know what the big deal is.
Oh, so you have that now? Now it makes sense. You got CTE too.
Well, hey,
I got my chin split open too on the same play.
hey, not only
Wow.
have I been knocked out cold on a football field, I've been knocked out cold in the boxing ring. So
Yeah.
Damn, this explains a lot. I get it now.
hey, but I was an amateur boxer, so we had those little pillow pads on our head too.
That's how you recognize it on that player.
And you still got.
I ain't got. Oh yeah, I still got knocked out.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me. The thing about that headgear in boxing, your nose still sticks just far enough out to get the shit knocked out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you also knocked other people out too. So.
Yeah, well, I wasn't much on defense in boxing. I went the Chuck Liddell route, and I had a chin that could take a few licks.
Just fuck.
Yeah.
You can.
But I also found somebody that could punch hard enough that my chin's sitting no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting off here, guys.
Yeah. Actually, I have to end the show anyway, so it's perfect timing.
See you guys.
All right. See you later, Rec. Thanks for coming on, buddy. All right. Vic and Slim, I appreciate you guys coming on, talking some ball. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, see ya.
Yes, sir.
All right, Sea-Dog, we did it.
Yeah.
Barely, but we did do it.
I'm so tired.
Yeah. All right. Well, great show, and we'll see you again next week.
Appreciate it, man. I'll see you then.
All right. All right, well, that's going to do it for me as well. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for the midday show on my second channel. If you're not subscribed to my second channel, there's a link to it in the description. Peete Podcast is what that's called. Anyway, subscribe to that. And then tomorrow night, 10 p.m., the College Football College Show. That ought to be interesting and fun. All right, everyone, have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you guys tomorrow.